Hello, this is an update for days 7 and 8 Breatharian. I've had a very interesting last couple days, last 2 days, and it began at the very end of day 6 video. I had woken up in the middle of the night, and for some reason I just couldn't stand the taste in my mouth. And I started, some program inside my mind started making up reasons to drink water, right? And even though I literally, when I was making up these reasons in my head, I was like, feeling my body, I was like, I'm not thirsty, I'm not dehydrated, I'm not hungry. It's just this taste in my mouth. And well, I pondered it for a while, and finally I drank some water, and then from there it started on this this avalanche type of behavioral pattern. And the next morning I decided that I would go 3 days drinking water and eating some fruit, and well, today is the second of those 3 days. And what I've noticed over the course of those 3 days, this 2 days, is that my body did not want water and it did not want fruit. Like, every time I ate, and I was eating for the flavor, but even the flavor did not quite taste like what I remember for this fruit tastes like. And every time after I'd eaten or drank anything, I'd start to feel sluggish and slow, and like my vibration was being brought back down again. And I've just noticed it's just not vibing with me, but I chose to just make an experiment out of it. And so that was yesterday. Now today it was pretty much the same thing, as far as I feel like the food and the water was a much lower vibration than what I was matching up to before. And then finally, about around lunchtime today, I'd cut in 2 oranges open, and I was eating oranges. Right when I finished eating the oranges, I went to the restroom, and when I got done in the restroom, I come back out, and my teeth, these 2 right here, are just pulsating. They're just like bam, 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 bam. I mean, they're just like rocking my brain. Like it's hurting so bad. I'm just like, holy cow, And so I'm walking around in circles. I have my roommate's chickens outside. I was watching them, and I'm just walking around like, man, what did I do? What unconscious choice did I make? I realized a couple. Well, one in particular was directly linked to that, but it just made like an avalanche of types of different links. And I remember that before, like, as all this was happening, I was like, what is my purpose? What am I supposed to be doing? Why am I doing this? What choices did I make to make this happen? This is a challenge, opportunity. This is a lesson. I need to overcome this somehow. I'm thinking, but it's like the pulsating is just so excuse me, so vibrant in my mind that I can't think at all. So I go and lay down with my face in the sun, and I pass out, just relax and go to sleep. And I wake up, and the chickens are still out, so I gotta put them back in. And like, as I'm walking, with every single step, it's just like wow, 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 just feeling up my whole face. I'm just like, some of the most painful experience I've ever had. And so I go put the chickens back, and I come back into the house, and I lay down for a little bit. And I'm laying down, and I'm like in between the dream state and the wake state. I'm just trying to relax and not focus on the pain. And my roommate comes home eventually, and I'm just laying there. I'm like, alright, I'm not getting up until I have resignated a different state of being. I gotta I gotta step. When I get up, I have to be resonating differently than when I am at. And I'm I lay there for a good long while, and finally I get up. And I'm sorry. I get I'm trying to do some pressure points. Bam, 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 bam. I'm doing every pressure point that I know of to make this pain go away. And I breathe with it. I'm just breathing, and nothing's working. So I'm walking around, and then I'll go in circles for a little bit. I'm just like, man, every footstep, it's like it feels even more intense. So finally I go back and lay back down on the couch, and I'm laying there, and it feels a little better, and then I'm just like, I just get to that point where I remember something I said to my boss. I went to help out one of my bosses today, and I remember when I told him, I said, do you want to wait until till you get to there's nothing else to do before you start moving towards health, or would you rather avoid getting cancer and all the illnesses and start moving towards health now? And I was that thought that I spoke to him popped in my mind, and I was like, yeah, I gotta do this. I'm like, so I got inspired for a moment, and so I sit down and start meditating, and I'm in full lotus pose, and I'm just focusing on the breath, and then I get this idea, I can't think, and I can't quite quiet my mind because the throbbing is just so intense. So finally, I start chanting. I just start chanting and chanting and chanting, and I'm trying to find the right meanings, and I'm just trying to say it with, as much feeling as I can, whatever I can say in order to make some other feeling come in my body besides pain. And I just go and I go and I go, and finally it just starts happening. The tingly feelings, they're starting to overwhelm me, and I'm starting to get a little bit, joyous. I'm like, all right, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. I gotta hold this state of being, and I got to resonate joy of my teeth, my mouth already being healed, of the pain already being gone, and it's not even an issue. So I'm sitting there, and I chant, and I sing, and I laugh a little bit. I make myself laugh a little bit, and I just feel it, and I breathe, and then finally, just very slowly, I just kept. I like to sit down. When I sit down and meditate, I say, as long as it takes. Whatever, if it's a disharmonious energy I'm resonating with, I sit down and say, as long as it takes. I'm not getting up until I get up different. And so when I sat down, I was disharmonious. When I got back up, I was much more harmonious. And so the pain had lessened dramatically. It dramatically lessened through meditating and chanting as if it was already healed. And then I was able to enter the silence and really relax. When I got up, I told my roommate I'm gonna go lay down and see how I feel afterwards. And I told her, actually, I said, I was thinking about it. I was like, purpose. Being breatharian, going back to the natural state of being, it has its quirks. Don't get me wrong, it has awesome quirks, but I can't do anything just for me. And so I began thinking, why else would I do this? Not just because I want to be an example and because I want to share it with other people, but why else? And I was like, a healer. I can heal with words, but I want to heal with my hands and my heart. So, and I've done it before on my body, and this just proved to me that I'd do it again. And it's just all about that resonance that you can pull yourself into and step into and stay in. And I went to sleep, but I really didn't go to sleep. I laid there till my whole body went numb, and then I saw like images coming up, and I just relaxed into it. It was a bunch of alien stuff, but nothing in particular. And finally I got back up. I was feeling like taking a shower, so I just got out of the shower. And as I'm getting out of the shower, I said that same thing again. I said, I could feel it still, just a little bit pulsating. I'm like, am I gonna wait till it gets worse, or am I gonna handle this now? but it was still way lesser than the beginning. And so I sit down in lotus pose again, and I say as long as it takes, and it totally lessened it to hardly anything now. And I'm gonna go again before I go to sleep, meditate and chant, and really try to resonate my body already being healed. And what I've really learned from this experience, it certainly was meaningful to me to stop, well, not to stop the detoxification process, even though I kind of tricked myself, because now I have actually a better purpose to go through with this than I did before. Beforehand, I was just thrilled and amped up on knowing that the truth of Breatharianism, and knowing that it is me and that I am ready for this. But now that's not my focus anymore. Now it's how pure of a vessel, how high can I get my vibration to be to where I can heal people effortlessly. And my roommate, she has bad back and bad leg, so I'm gonna be practicing on her, healing her as often as I get a chance to. And it's really just cultivating that state of being, of already allowing and knowing that the person is healed. Because I watched this video and I know the truth of it before I watched it, but the video just inspired me. It's in Unity Science. But it's in the Unity Science playlist, next to this playlist. And I just feel like this whole transition these past 2 days it came out to be so meaningful. I turned this disharmonic, it's almost self-sabotage, mind game I was playing with myself back around on itself. And I turned it into something beautiful. And that's which, there's so many people that I want to help, so many people that I love, and that it's hard to convince them with just words sometimes. When they're really in the dark, it's hard to convince them with just words. And I would have to live with them in order to resonate with them enough to where they trust me. And then once their trust level starts going up again, because that's one of the biggest beliefs people don't have. They place their trust in something else. And my boss told me today that he's afraid of people stealing from him, because all of his workers steal from him. And he told me that he still has the feeling that I might steal from him. And I was like, no man, you can trust me. But I didn't even say that. I just smiled. I was like, it'll be okay. And it just feels like now I have a real purpose backing up my Breatharian detox. And I already know I can go 5 days without food or water, and I didn't feel like I needed food or water. And when I did eat food and water, I just felt like crap. So it just goes to show me that my body was obeying my wishes, but then my mind tried to step back on it. And it's the same thing that happened whenever I went transitioning from mainstream food to vegan and vegetarian. At first, I was just straight on. I just switched over. I was inspired by the people that I was with, and I went straight vegan. And I stayed hardcore on it for like a month or two, and then it just started to sway back and forth, where I was like starting to test the waters again, and I'd go back and forth and back and forth. And even in November, I was going back and forth, and my body was just like, we don't want any of this stuff. Like, if I would just eat Thanksgiving meal, that food was just going straight through me. I was not digesting it at all. But anyways, I just want to say I love you all, and I feel even better now. I can't wait to keep going. Love you all.